Now, what's going on with you today? Hope you're staying blessed out there, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. So today I want to have a little conversation about Kodak Black. If you guys did not know, the man Kodak is actually back in federal custody once again. This is unfortunately a movie we've seen a couple too many times. We're going to talk about that a little later. You might have heard the news from earlier this month. Kodak was arrested for cocaine possession and evidence tampering in Broward County. So essentially what happened is on the 7th of December at around 2 a.m., while the police were patrolling in an area in Plantation, Florida, they ended up finding a black Bentley SUV parked on a roadway. One of the police officers then drove over, to the car to take a closer look. One of the officers then flashed their police lights and exited their car to walk over to the parked Bentley. When they approached the driver's side door, the officer found the window halfway down and observed the driver, who later was identified as Kodak Black. Now, Kodak was sleeping in the car, right? They started further inspecting what was going on, and they smelled a little bit of weed coming from inside the car, and they checked to see if Kodak was breathing, which he was. And then another officer ended up arriving, who opened the driver's side door, and they ended up discovering a styrofoam cup, which I'm assuming didn't contain any green spirulina. Anyway, they ended up waking Kodak Black up. They asked him whether he had weapons or anything illegal inside the car, and then they were about to run Kodak's license and registration. And according to the cops, they said that they allegedly looked over and saw a white powder falling behind him while he was turned away. And then one of the officers returned to Kodak and noticed that his mouth was allegedly full of white powder. The police ended up testing the substance on the scene, and it was allegedly confirmed to be cocaine. And then after that is when Kodak was arrested. Now, Kodak did actually post bond literally the day after, and so he was released. However, he ended up being back behind bars right after. And this time it was for violating his probation. Now, the violation is linked to a 2019 case in which Kodak Black ended up pleading guilty to. More specifically, it was because Kodak lied on a background check form when he purchased handguns in Florida back in 2019. And then in 2019, he was sentenced to 46 months in federal prison for that crime right there, which he later ended up getting pardoned for by Donald Trump, right? It's kind of sad to see Kodak Black time and time again just throwing away his blessings like this, because I've always felt like Kodak Black has gotten so many chances to make things right for himself in his future, but every single time he starts kind of moving in the right direction, he gets caught up in something else, and then it's back behind bars once again. You know what they say, right? You can take a man from the streets, but you can't take the streets out of a man. And Kodak Black is honestly the walking equivalent of that saying. I used to always have this perspective of Kodak Black that he's someone who just continuously is making these mistakes because he doesn't really want to learn. But I'm realizing now, after all these years of covering him, Kodak Black is actually not able to learn from his mistakes at this particular time. And Kodak Black doesn't really need any punishment, man. This is not a guy who's gonna learn from getting punished and is gonna learn from being thrown inside a jail cell. This is a guy who needs rehabilitation, man. That's what Kodak needs. And I think that's the only thing that can actually put him on the right path. Because it's one thing if, like you see someone getting locked up for something a couple times, maybe like 1 or 2 times, and then they get out and then, hey, they learn from those mistakes. But what we've seen from Kodak Black is time and time again, he's getting caught up in these cycles of making the same mistake over and over and over again. And then that leads to his freedom getting taken away. It negatively contributes to his mental health. Because one thing I've noticed about Kodak over time is his health has kind of deteriorated over these last couple years of him being in the game. And this is something I've noticed in real time. Maybe you have as well, but have you noticed how Kodak Black just doesn't look as vibrant as he used to look? These days, he kind of looks very, how could I put it, like very worn out. A lot of it has to do with lifestyle, yes, but a lot of it I also think has to do with the fact that his spirit keeps on getting broken down because he's stuck in this cycle that he can't take himself out of. And this is really deep, man, because you mix the kind of lifestyle Kodak lives, fast lifestyle, most likely with, a lot of women around him, a lot of drugs around him. That's something we've seen. Some bad influences here and there. And then on his side, he keeps on making these mistakes that gets him in trouble with the law. He has to not only be an artist, he has to be a father. He has to be this role model for a lot of the kids from his community. And simultaneously, he's stuck fighting these cases. On top of that, yes, he does have a lot of passive income, but no active income because he's behind bars and he can't actively work for his money while still trying to keep the consistency going as an artist. So Kodak has a lot of things on his plate, which in return is taken away from having the mental space to actually improve as a human being. I mean, just battling addiction alone, which Kodak has kind of alluded to in his music a little bit and in different instances, like some of his Instagram lives and whatnot. Battling addiction alone while not having anything else on your plate, that's hard enough. But imagine battling that while still having all these other things that he has on his plate. That's a lot for any human being. So now I'm kind of realizing that Kodak Black doesn't need punishment. He needs rehabilitation and he needs healing. Because being in the rap and music industry has definitely not improved his mental health over the last couple years. We've literally seen Kodak Black crying, okay, in front of the whole world, breaking down.
Damn, what kind of person are you? This one, you need to go back to jail and sober up, yak, for real, man. How and why would you, and why do you feel like that's the answer to my, or whatever you feel like? Why do you feel like that's the answer to my what you call?
Talking about I'm going through this, I'm going through that, and this is hard on me, and you know, this is how I'm feeling at the moment. And in those moments of him kind of expressing that pain, you see hip-hop laughing at him. You don't really see nobody in his circle intervening because he's not getting better. So, you know, how is it possible that anyone is actually intervening and caring enough to try to pull him out of this place? As a matter of fact, we've seen Kodak Black on at least one occasion being recorded by someone who's supposedly his friend while he was sitting on the ground, presumably allegedly strung out on dope, and this was all caught on camera on IG Live in front of the whole world to see, which I thought that was really strange. Super strange. I mean, why the hell would you publicize your supposed homie's pain like this for the whole world to see? I don't understand it. That sounds like an op to me. Yes, everything is on him as a man to pull himself out of this place that he's in, but then again, we can't ignore how crucial one's environment can be towards the betterment or destruction of your mental health. And you know, one of the things that actually makes Kodak Black great is the pain that he's going through right now. The reason why Kodak Black is actually able to put out so much content with so much emotion, which he puts out a lot of great content, that's because he's going through so much. And typically this is what makes an artist really resonate with a lot of people. They're very authentic, which Kodak Black is, and they're putting all these things into music regardless of how it's gonna make them look. Because what Kodak Black is going through right now, that's real life, man. We're all going through something in our lives that's making us feel some type of pain, and that's kind of weighing down our spirit to some extent. Now for him, things are on a whole nother scale because he's famous. Fame literally amplifies all the negatives by 1 billion times. And with Kodak's reputation for being, you know, the quote-unquote problem kid, people always expect the worst from him. And unfortunately, you know, I can't say that I'm not one of those people, because I always just look at patterns and I say, okay, what's been the pattern thus far? Well, for Kodak Black is that, you know, consistently over time, ever since he's been in the industry, from a track record standpoint, he's consistently been squandering all of his opportunities by engaging in foolish behavior. Objectively speaking, it is what it is, right? That's the cold, hard truth. But obviously, if we start to go a little bit deeper and we start to look at Kodak Black as an artist and as a human being, you realize that this is someone who's living a very complicated reality, both on a physical level and especially on a mental level. And it's really poignant when you start to think about it, because this is exactly what's taken away a lot of our favorite artists. A lot of them were not only struggling with addiction, but they also had all these other things in their life, which was amplifying their addiction and their bad habits. And eventually they get to a point where they're on the brink of sometimes suicide. Some of them have been in that hotel room and, you know, just accidentally, quote unquote, accidentally taken a little too many pills. And next thing you know, they hit the headlines and apparently this person is dead. So what Kodak Black is going through is very serious. And if he doesn't really try to break this cycle, it could lead to him being on a very dark road in the future. Anyway, there you have the video. Guys, I appreciate you for tuning in, and January 1st is right around the corner. You guys know what's happening, right? Some of y'all might not be aware, but in case you didn't know, I'm dropping my first song on January 1st. My debut single, Told Myself, is dropping, okay? And I'm so excited to share this with you. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you. And I just want to give a special thanks to everybody who's been sharing the excitement with me. I've seen all the messages, I've seen all the love, and now we're literally about to go on a whole nother journey together, man. So I'm beyond excited, guys. I can't wait for you to hear not only this song, but all the other music that I have coming for the future. So since this is probably going to be the last video I drop before the year ends, I appreciate you guys for the support. I want to thank you for still rocking with me throughout these last couple of years. I'm beyond grateful, and I can't believe that I still have like so many people who actually support, man. Like it feels unreal, you know? So far, it hasn't been the best year for me. I'll just be completely honest with you. But 2024 is going to be an even better year. We're going to start this year very strong. And I just want to thank you, like, from the bottom of my heart, for always showing up and for being so great, you know? I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but for the first time in, 7 years, I'm actually shedding some tears right now. I swear to God, I'm actually shedding some tears right now. Because I'm happy and I'm looking back on everything that I've been through, but everything that we've gone through together. So I'm happy that you're still here, and I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much. I don't want you to hear it in my voice. So January 1st, my first song, Told Myself, is dropping, and I hope you feel this one, and I hope this one speaks life into you, because that's always been the goal for me. The goal has always been to speak life into the world, but more so to you. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm not here for anything else but that. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the support, all the love, and all the encouragement throughout the years. It means the world to me. So I appreciate you. I love you, and see you on the other side. I'm out.